So just to give credit to Joel Schaefer, who basically put this presentation together, a lot of great information came from ASI, which is the Advertising Specialty Institute, PPAI, Promotional Products Association International, CEIR, Center for Exhibit Industry Research, a lot of alphabet soup of associations. So it's a lot of good data, a lot of good information. Hopefully I can give it its dignity it deserves. And I got my best suit on today because it actually fits. I just lost 60 pounds.
Yeah.
So all my new clothes are actually 20 years old, but I have a whole new wardrobe. So here we go. We're going to talk about how to harness the power of promotional products. We're going to tie it into trade shows and the use of how to extend your reach to your prospects and clients, customers, employees, a lot of different kinds of people. We'll talk about who they are. And I'm going to say we a lot. When I say we, I'm not necessarily referring to ExhibitCraft or ExhibitCraft employees. I'm really referring to ExhibitCraft as a promotional products agency, or as a full-service exhibit company, or I'm talking about the whole promotional products industry, or even sometimes I'm actually talking about promotional products themselves. I don't want this to sound like a sales pitch for ExhibitCraft. You didn't come to hear that. So, and it wasn't written that way anyway. But so when I say we, it's that global pejorative we. Okay. So, how to harness the? We're going to talk about first about coming to your senses. We always feel it's important to engage the senses. Can everyone see this okay? Maybe hit that light. There's a glare on this side, right? That help? Okay. I put that banner stand there to sort of stop the light from coming in. Last year we had a meeting inside. We didn't know how many people were going to show up. There was too many for the room, so we went for a bigger room this year, and we have less people, but so we have more room. It's hard to tell who's going to come to that, even though we ask people to register and let us know if they're coming. So, just to be cute with you, we're going to go through the sentences. Can you really taste the apple in your Apple computer? Can you really feel the soft in Microsoft? Can you smell the roses on flower.com? Maybe sometimes you think you can smell it, but you probably can't. You're imagining something else. Can you hear the news in the newspaper? Do you recall the last billboard you saw? I'm assuming a lot of you maybe driving here were on a highway somewhere today and passed a billboard. Does anyone remember seeing any billboards? Not everyone on side roads? I know I didn't. I live 3 blocks away. No billboards on Valley Road. So you probably saw billboards, but do you remember one? Do you remember one you saw? Anybody?
I'm dying to hear this because we just did billboards and we got nothing from it.
I don't know anybody anywhere in industry who would actually measure the success of a billboard. It's really out there just for name recognition, and the ones that come to my mind, I always love the ones from Chick-fil-A. I love Chick-fil-A, but when you see a cow standing in the cow's back and it says eat more chicken or something, those crack me up. The funny ones sort of do it for me. But so, we're not just in a business, in the trade show business, the promotional products business, of just throwing your name out there and hoping somebody comes back. We try to do it in a measurable, sensible way, through what we're going to call dimensional engagement. You're going to physically, tangibly hand somebody something that they can put their hands on, and then that will hopefully remember you by. Some outrageous statistics, something like 94% of people in their offices have 3 or more promotional products either on their desk or in a drawer that they look at anywhere between 9 and 92 times a week. These are real statistics. You drive past the billboard, some of you did it, say you forgot who it was already. You read a newspaper, you see an ad there, and once the paper's in the garbage, you forgot it. I can't say how many times I watch TV commercials. I try to flip through them, but I'll watch a TV commercial and 8 seconds later, it might have been the funniest thing ever, so I couldn't even tell you who the product was that manufactured or with it. I think a lot of people are the same way. But when they're holding a pen in their hand and has your name on it, that's some sort of recognition or branding for your company. So we say that it's more relevant today than yesterday or maybe ever before, because in the digital age, where there's so much going on digitally on the internet, emails, all those other environments where stuff's in and out and you're getting barrage of so much information, that sometimes this dimensional engagement, the thing, the promotional product, is a really viable solution. Anyone watch Mad Men, the TV show? Wow, nobody, including me. is a show about very, very high-level, high-power advertising agency in New York City. So all these guys are on the show. They're all the agency members. They're all, type A personalities, in your face, supposedly the creative types. And that's exactly what we're not. Okay, so I'm going to just sort of compare and contrast the advertising agency to the we, not ExhibitCraft, but the promotional products consultant or promotional products, and show you what the difference is between in developing a program and coming up with the products. In a 2007 study conducted by Microsoft, I love this, 10 to 15% of adults between the ages of 17 and 35 go out of their way to avoid advertising. I have a great example for you. I'm sure that it's probably 99.9% of men with a TV remote control in their hand.
Commercial comes on.
Yeah, every woman knows that. You guys aren't positive. When the commercials come on, we're on to the next channel. We just, that's avoidance. You walk through malls, someone's trying to hit you with a pitch, you're away. Sometimes even at trade shows, if you're not careful, if people are trying to give you a pitch, people are just typically averse to just generic advertising. Not everybody, but that's a pretty good percentage of people that are referred to as advertisers. So let's just talk about some of the fundamental advertising strategies. We talk first about awareness. Sorry, gotta keep up with my notes. As an advertising agency or a promotional agency would do, we're going to help you start thinking about what your program is to develop the program and come up with what we believe to be the appropriate promotional product for you to be giving away. And Leslie, when she comes up later to speak, there she is, spec. She'll get into the specifics of how we do that and what she thinks might be the best kinds of products to use. But we're going to help you even develop your own kind of awareness so you can create an awareness for your target audience and customers, clients, employees. It's a long list, we'll get to that in a little bit. We're going to start interviewing you and ask you questions like, what are you trying to do? What is your reach? Where are you going? Who are you trying to reach? Why are you trying to reach them? And from that information, I'm going to try to create and reinforce some kind of message or branded message and help develop an awareness. And once that awareness is developed, the viewer starts developing an interest. If you think about the auto manufacturers, boy, anytime you're watching TV, there's so many car commercials, it's unbelievable. Sometimes I wonder, because everyone's advertising all at the same time, if they all stopped advertising and just lower the price on the cars, maybe we would do better, but it's not for me to figure that out. So once there's an awareness, then people develop an interest. And once there's an interest, from the interest you develop desire, and from the desire, hopefully, we get some action. It's different, it's a slightly different business model than it used to be, but the objectives are still the same. We talked about the core strategy is going to engage the target's mind. We talked about before how, some of the senses, how we want to do that, and then get your objectives and get them to take an action. The them is the prospect or the customer, the potential customer. And I've learned this ages ago as a speaker, that when you're training people, I always ask people to take notes. Some of you are taking notes, some of you aren't. But when you take notes, there's some sort of connection between the physical doing this and what's going on in your brain. And if it's interesting or a little bit funny, or the guy up front is humorous, hopefully a little bit. Once you've engaged all those three components, you start remembering things. So we say writing crystallizes thought, and crystallized thought instills action. So if they're not writing, if you hand them a promotional product that's physically something in their hand, if there's an emotion tied to it, they'll remember it and they'll remember who you are. The statistic is something like 82% of people who receive a promotional product remember the company they received it from, remember where they received it, remember what the message is up to 3 years later. That's powerful stuff. I'm going to blow through this one, but it's a comparison of what the promotional agency and the advertising agency does. Basically, our core competencies, both groups of people, is developing a creative and helping you deliver it through a campaign to an end result target market. The difference on these two pages, this whole page here actually is better seen right here. On this page, strangely enough, no means yes. Can you guys see that okay? Mm-hmm. Don't tell Joe Bodner, our controller, I'm telling you this stuff. If you look down the column over here on the right side, the promotional products providers, guys like us in our industry and often trade show designers and producers, we're not really charging you for our creative. Anybody here have an advertising agency? Is there a chance they don't ever charge you for creative? Not a chance, right?
Not a chance.
You almost get the feeling when you make a phone call to them or they call you that they just turn the meter on like it's a taxi cab in a county.
We don't do that.
None of us do that.
No.
We're not typically charging for our ideas. You know, we're putting the creative together, we're doing the interview. You know, if we're creating artwork from scratch, that's another story, but we don't really charge for our creative. The way the big we, the way we make money, the way, come on up. Okay, you're the next speaker because. Oh, come on in. Time has one here. The way we get paid, the big we, welcome, is if you like our ideas, hopefully you buy it from us. That's how our industry works. But so we'll sit with you, pick your brain, offer you some creative. And the great part of that about us offering creative is, last time I looked, we have 3,200 clients in our database. So at least 3,200 times we've gone through this interview process. So we are just this amazing collection of information that we can share and spit back to you. We're not sharing secrets, but we're going to share some of the success stories about how we go through the process and make that work for you. Again, some of the advantages of working with companies like us or people in our industry, everything that we do is audience focused, it's tangible and long lasting. I was mentioning it before, you drive by a billboard, it's gone. You throw the magazine ad away, it's gone. TV commercial is gone in 4 minutes. This promotional product, people hold on to it for years and years, whether it's a hat, a shirt with your logo on it. Walk around any college campus or high school campus. Look how many kids are wearing Budweiser t-shirts or Nike or whatever. They are walking, talking advertisements.
And they paid for them.
Right, they paid for them, no one paid them, and they get, you know, it's free advertising, so it works. A lot of you I see wearing logo shirts today, there's a good reason for it. And we, as a smaller business, we understand that, and you guys as smaller, medium-sized companies, every dollar you spend in some kind of marketing or sales effort has to see some kind of return. You're not out there, you did do a billboard, but.
I didn't want them to.
Why?
I said, if you're gonna use the billboard, do it at the Lincoln Tunnel Helix, where you might be stuck in traffic and want to be entertained. But otherwise, I think it was a very big waste of money, and I was voted off board.
Okay, so sometimes, you know, maybe if you have a monster budget, you know, that fits in with the mix.
Yeah.
Most of us, I know we don't have a monster budget for marketing, so every dollar we spend, we need to see some kind of return for it. What is the return? Maybe it softens the next phone call that we make, so someone will answer the phone and go, oh, I got your pen, I got your thing that you sent to me, mailed to me, gave it to me. On appointments, I need, you know, I can measure appointments, and certainly I'm looking for sales, so I need to see some kind of return. We understand that, and we're going to help you do the same thing through the use of promotional products and trade shows. So it does have an impact that's easily measured. I could talk hours about that. It's something that's easily distributed. I'm not sure necessarily about viral like on the internet, but you know, tomorrow through the resources of our partners, we could do a drop of 10,000 pens, postcards, something to your database, a purchase database. You can get stuff out there quickly and in people's hands. Your sales department, your marketing department is handing things out. At trade shows, you're giving things away. You try to pick the items that have a higher perceived value rather than, but you don't want to break the bank at the same time. So the reason you want it to have some kind of higher perceived value is because you want people to hold on to it. I love this, the word compliment. I didn't know this till about 6 months ago. It's spelled, there's 2 ways to spell compliment. And I got it wrong, that's how I found out. With an I is, you look really pretty today, that's compliment. Compliment with the E means, you know, working together. Come on in. It's okay. So you can use a promotional product to complement a target marketing effort, and you can also use promotional products to complement other advertising media. Let's talk about the resources of us or other promotional agencies. And here's the kinds of things that we can help you do. And I'm going to have a couple of slides showing this. You know, sometimes we'll go through a program, we'll do an interview, we'll come up with a product, whether it's a pen, a t-shirt, or a hat. We'll make the proposal to clients or not so much the clients that we have a working relationship with, sometimes newer prospects. And they go, oh, that was a great idea, but I found it for 1.5 cents less on the internet. We don't know what to say about that, but sometimes it's go for it. And I will tell you that we learned the hard way. I got excited about promotional products 25 years ago, saying, this is really fun stuff. And the margins are good enough for me to provide this product and help service my clients. And then I sold 3,000 mugs to my biggest client. It was Canon, the Japanese electronics firm out Long Island, Lake Success. We produced 3,000 mugs. It was supposed to say Canon in red, and then the last little thing, we'll call it a swoosh thing, at the end in black. And we had the mugs printed. There's 2,000 mug guys out there. How hard could that be, right? Well, there's probably 5 you should work with, and 1,995 you shouldn't work with. And the swoosh at the end, it was only off a little bit, and the color was only off a little. But the client didn't pay us at all. So I said, am I going to risk a $100,000 client for $5,000 worth of mugs? Boy, that made no sense to me. So I said, I'm getting out of this business after 2 attempts. After 25 years, I realized I need to be back in this business. I built an infrastructure to be able to support it and hire people with 16 years of experience, bring in the software, and now we know who the right suppliers are to work with. My statistic here, and I think this is wrong, it says I have over 5,000 manufacturers worldwide. Isn't it more like 50,000?
It's like, yeah.
And 20,000, I think I'm missing a zero in both of these. Between the manufacturers and exclusive manufacturers that are through our worldwide procurement, there's over 700,000 different promotional products that are offered. 700,000. Out of that 700,000, they probably fit into about 20 or 30 different categories. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I think Leslie's going to talk more about it. But out of that huge group of suppliers, we're only going to work with what we call the 5-star rated sources, or the ones who are close to that. And those are companies that we say provide quality, service, and price. Okay, and what's most important to us is that when we engage with them through the promotional products industry for you on your behalf, that they're going to produce something that's on time, on spec, and on budget. That swoosh at the end is going to be in the right color and in the right place. And if it's not, it's their problem, and it's going to get done on time. So we're going to figure out how to do that for you, rather than going on the internet and just finding the wrong mug guy like I did.
Do the members more or less decide on the 5-star?
It's an amazing network of every time you have a transaction with one of the suppliers as a member, you're asked to rate them and they're asked to rate you. So this is a massive rating system.
Yeah.
Similar maybe even to how eBay does its rating system. And then the manufacturers and distributors, we all get rated. We rate each other. Like I mentioned, we have global sourcing capabilities. We have this online search engine, that's the software I'm talking about. If you go into a website, I'll show you the address later, there's a buying site and there's a selling site. Saying that one, you would go into our selling site. We have another buying site that Leslie has the back door into to be able to communicate directly with manufacturers, put together digital samples. That's the kind of proofing that we want to do up front to make sure that your product's going to come out right at the end. Those things aren't really generally available to the general public. We are used to, through our suppliers and through our own graphic and art production, working on so many different substrates you can't imagine: metal, plastic, glass, fabric, you name it, we're printed on it. And between our collective groups, there's hundreds of dedicated artists and a lot of creative talent out there to help you come up with your design and product solution. We have a warehouse of fulfillment. Probably 3 or 4 times a month I get a call from one of my bigger clients, government of British Virgin Islands. Hey, send my booth to this show and make sure you send 200 pens, 14 folders, and 62 clocks, whatever. They don't their numbers. So we'll fulfill that for them right out of our warehouse. We can also help build company stores. This is usually something reserved for larger corporations, where they'll allow their employees to go into a certain website, whether they earn points, dollars. They help them figure out the program, and they could acquire company branded materials. They could also do it for clients or prospects. In answering the request that we found from some of our clients, I did probably a 1.5-year study. It took me, I'm still not moving fast enough for Leslie, though she's still a little bit frustrated, but talking to a lot of the manufacturers, somewhere around 30% of promotional products that are produced actually get shipped directly from a manufacturer supplier or a distributor right to a trade show. Okay? There's another 30%, and there's a lot of overlap, that actually get produced with a rush charge or rush shipping. We have seen situations where sometimes the rush shipping exceeds the cost of the promotional products. Has that ever happened to anybody?
No.
I just had to ship something in, we needed in a hurry from Malaysia. I don't even know where Malaysia is, but the shipping was more expensive. It's somewhere in the Far East. I know where TNT is, that's the shipping company. But, so I said there's a market there, there's a need that has to be resolved. And we've come up with something we call Promo Express. And that is, we've engaged services of, I don't know, 8 or 10 different manufacturers that are all within a 30-minute drive of our office. Leslie chuckles about that. She says, I can't leave the office to go see clients, but I can leave the office to go see a vendor. We need her in the office. She's got to watch the store.
Who's got a company store?
And, right, there is a company store. And all of those products can be produced in anywhere from 24 to 72 hours. So when a client walks into our showroom for their inspection on their exhibit, and the guys say, okay, we got all our stuff together, this is how it works, it's beautiful, you love it, okay, sign here, take it with you. Oh, by the way, where's your literature and where's your promotional products? Oh, geez, I forgot all about it, forget it, I can't do that. Actually, you can, because Leslie can turn it around for you in 3 or 4 days and have pens, hats, there's a huge variety. So we're close to having that as a core product offering our service off. We'll help you engage your key assets. How am I doing for time here?
You are 8 minutes into your 30 minute, like you have 8 minutes left.
Okay. We started late.
Oh, that's true. Okay, I'll give you 10.
I'm gonna speed up, okay.
Give the boss 10.
I was going too far. I was going too far. Okay, we have this cute saying armor. We're going to help you through the use of promotional products, or you can help yourselves through the use of promotional products. Do these things. Appreciate people. We're going to, customers, employees, by giving them a little gift, a gifty thing, a promotional thing, makes them feel appreciated. You could recognize your employees or your customers for outstanding performance, whether it's they hit a certain level of buying or productivity performance as an employee. It's just a fundamental human need to be recognized. Barbara hit a monster sales milestone for herself a few years ago when we produced a crystal vase for her, and she proudly displays it on her desk, and everyone that comes in her office asks us about it. It's just a fundamental need for people to feel that way. It's just a good thing. Motivate. Banks used to give out a free toaster if you opened up a new account with them. And sometimes that motivated people to pick their bank because they were getting a toaster. I don't think they give toasters out anymore.
No, they just agree not to charge you for something.
Yeah, right. Or maybe promotional deduction on a charge for 3 or 6 months, or a special offer. But an employer can offer a tangible reward to an employee to work harder, work safer, something like that. So you can motivate through people through promotional products. You can educate. One of the biggest areas I see of education, use of promotional products in education, is through the wellness industry. Doctors, chiropractors, pharmaceuticals, they're constantly giving stuff away to people as a measure of, to help them educate themselves to a better wellness lifestyle. And to reinforce, in this area I'm thinking more like brand positioning. We're going to help you reinforce your brand through promotional products. We can help you in so many different areas in your company. I'm just going to click on all the things. I'm not going to go through all the different parts and pieces of this, but it's amazing how many different areas of your company can use promotional products in your business. The human resource department, your production department I mentioned before about motivating employees for 0 defects or productivity, and if you're better your employees perform, the better it is for them, certainly health-wise, and does throw profits to the bottom line. That's a good thing. To the consumers, to your marketing department, I say that's where we live. We live mostly in your marketing departments, but we engage really other areas. Sales, there's a good connection between sales and marketing, but there's also sometimes a pretty good separation. Community involvement, there's a great story that Joel tells about Texaco, the large oil company. They're constantly getting barrage from the local communities. Can you support our event? Can you do this for us? Can you write us a check? So instead of writing checks, they have a warehouse full of cups and plates and napkins with their name printed on it. So if the local baseball team is having a cheesesteak dinner, they're throwing cases of of utensils and flat goods at them with their name printed on it. So they're giving support, but they're getting some promotional marketing from it. Using promotional products really, really can help build trade show traffic. Through a survey that was done by the PPAI, they found that sending out a pre-show promotion versus not sending out a pre-show promotion, that the people visited their booth 3 times more. The people who received a promotional item before the show visited their booth, visit trade show booths 3 times more than the people who don't visit. You could take it to another level. I watched a client do this. They sent out a glasses case as the pre-show promotion, and if you bring this glasses case to the booth, we'll give you a pair of sunglasses. So they even got a better effort. So they were tying a marketing program into the parts and pieces and giving people, motivating people to come visit that show. We joke that there's 7 deadly sins on planning your trade show. I'm going to touch on 2 of them right now. Collecting inconsistent or incomplete lead information and waiting too long and not doing lead follow-up. Great client, company called PNY Electronics, love these people. They produce memory modules for computers. And 15 years ago, they were selling a memory module, a 4 meg memory module for $200, right? Now you can get a 4 terabyte module for $200. Wanted a big presence in the booth. We created a great attraction and it's a great giveaway. They generated 10,000 leads at the PC Expo show in New York City. There was 120,000 attendance, 10,000 leads. A month and a half later, I sat down with them, just sort of doing a post-show follow-up, which was pretty unique because it's hard to get clients to sit down and do that. And I said, you set a world's record getting leads in your booth. We helped bring the whole world into your booth. What'd you do with those leads? And they all sat there looking at each other. I don't know, what did I do with those leads? And they went hunting while I was sitting there in the office. And 3 cubicles back in the marketing department, underneath an empty desk, was this monster box full of leads. 10,000. I'm not sure that they're all leads, but suspects and names. 10,000 pieces of paper sitting in a box. They did nothing with it. Not good. This is pretty interesting statistic. I don't know exactly where they got this. CEIR said, the average person is inclined to make a preliminary decision as to whether to stop in your booth 15 feet before getting there. So hopefully there's some sort of compelling message or some interest in your graphics or something going on. And if there isn't, maybe you should be standing by the aisle giving something away. At least you get people into the booth and they can start thinking, about what you're doing in part of the presentation. Jump to here. These are all the steps that we go through as an industry to help make sure that your promotional product program is a success. I could spend hours going through this, but anywhere from the creative consulting to the follow-up and all the deliverables, we save your artwork. Most of the time we save your artwork. Most of the time it can be repurposed. Our suppliers and vendors save it on file, so when you're ready to do a reorder, we're ready. I have a client who gets better information out of me of what he bought from me than his own records or his accounting department. So every year I call up him and say, hey, it's that time to replace that order. It's banner stands, those guys. I provide him with the information of what his buying history is. We're tracking that for you. CPSA, the bottom left here, that's Consumer Product Safety Administration. Anybody know what that is? Anybody have kids? Any kids ever make you go to McDonald's because of that? We know it works. That's an incentive. That's a premium. That's a promotional item. I mean, they sell a lot of hamburgers because of these things. Inside that box is a toy that's a piece of crap, probably. Some of them are collectible now. Some of them are collectible. But my kids used to get, when they were little, they get the box and they go home and they go, Daddy, this is a piece of garbage. That was a ripoff.
You sold it to them, don't worry.
Then they sold it right at the next garage sale. These things work. That's why they do it. They work. That doesn't just work for McDonald's. It works for everybody. You just said it. You touched on something. I'm going to blow through the slide here, but that little tray there was something that Coca-Cola used to give away. It probably cost them 13 cents or 62 cents. I don't know what it was. But a couple of years ago, it sold for $16,000 at an auction. So sometimes these promotional items or these premiums really take on a life of their own. I'll bet each one of you in the room has saved something from a long time ago. Some company's imprinted message. So what is a promotional product? It's an item that's used to promote a product, service, company offering. And there's all the things, and that's this list of things that basically include advertising, specialties, premiums. That's something that you give away to get someone to buy something else, like the McDonald's Happy Meal thing. Incentives for employees or customers, gifts, awards, prizes. Those are the categories. We say the numbers don't lie. Here's some quick surveys and some pretty good information. Half of consumers have a favorable impression of an advertiser because they received a promotional product from them. That's why it works. 20% of consumers make purchases after receiving a promotional product. To me, that's a clincher right there. That's what you guys are after. That's the action that I was talking about before. 83% of consumers could recall an advertiser promotional product that they received, and the rest of that sentence that's not up there is up to 3 years later. 8 out of 10 people like receiving those products, and 7 of them find online advertising annoying. Anybody get barraged with emails of advertisements that you don't even open up anymore?
Oh, yeah.
Like, a lot of that's just noise.
So you go to any trade show, a lot of the places will just scan you if you're walking by. And, they're not specific to their market or anything like that. They have the girls there and they just scan everybody that walks by. And then you're getting all these emails that don't pertain.
Okay. You led me into something I sort of glossed over before. I'm going to touch on this real quickly. It's, when you go into a trade show or wherever your marketing effort is, it's more about quality than quantity. Most of the time. I have a client, a company called Gray Hair Software. Great people that make software for the postal industry. They just came back from the National Postal Forum in San Francisco. 30 by 50 booth, really cool presentation. They had a tattoo artist in the booth. This was in San Francisco. Probably the only place you could do that.
Yeah.
And puppies. What the hell are you doing? It says a little cage, right? They brought the local animal shelter and they brought puppies. Who can resist a puppy? I don't know. 1 out of 1,000 people. So everyone in the building came to their booth. I said, is that really what you want? I don't know how you do business with everyone in the building and your booth just clogging and getting in the way. He says, we're just looking for some big brand awareness for, let everyone know who we are. Once they're in the booth, hopefully we can figure out how to identify the right people. Another story, true story. Grew up in the family business. We sold off a piece of the business to a manufacturer that we represented and sold me with it. Scott, you're out.
How old were you?
I just sold you. I was 6. It was 1991. I was 33. I spent 3.5 years there. It was my PhD in the exhibit industry, let me put it that way. I learned a lot. As I left and started my new company, and we were friendly competitors with the old company, we both ended up at a trade show about 6 booths away from each other. So I think it was me, Carol, and Barbara probably working the show together, just the 3 of us. They had 15 people in their booth. And everybody that walked by, they were scanning. And we were qualifying, asking lots of questions and getting good information. We came back to our office, communicated with the people in the other office, still friendly competition. How'd you guys do at the show? Hey, we walked away with 92 leads. We're pretty proud of ourselves. No kidding. We got 700, that's what they said. We just sort of laughed. As they muddled through 700 leads, we were making appointments and selling exhibits. They got to the point where they didn't even know how to fulfill those leads. So we were stealing the sales from them because they were clogged with bad information. So it's about the quality, not the quantity. We rate the people, we give a rating A through A, B, C, F, there is no D. And we give a rating of 30, 50, 90 on time, right? On the sense of urgency. So when we come back to our office, it's information on who to contact first. Everyone's gonna get the same kind of phone call, but we wanna know who to call first. Okay, so it's about the quality information, not the quantity. Just gonna quality information, not the quantity. Promotional products play well, though. It's just gonna show you 2 quick charts. I don't know if you can see the numbers on there, but the last column is $20 billion. $20 billion in promotional products. The reason, and you can see that chart going up and up. It's not going down. There's a reason people are spending money on that stuff, because it works. Here's a gigantic pie chart, but the biggest sections on that chart are why people use them, and the green one is employee relations and events, brand awareness, trade shows is the orange one. Those are the 3 biggest, how people are using them. And the kinds of things that they're buying, and Leslie will get more into this, 30% of that, the biggest piece of that pie is wearables. Oops, where's it going? Wearables and, I think it's on the timer. And writing instruments, pens. So when we talk about pens, keychains, and hats, that's, those are some of the most popular things. Anyway, thanks. You probably have a million questions. I want to let Leslie get up and talk first, and then I can visit you. We can visit later or at the show and answer a million questions. Hopefully, I entertained you a little bit, gave you some valuable information. We have 2 online websites. Leslie and Vicky can talk more about it. One is for the branded apparel, and the other one is for branded materials. Thank you.